Obviously, we weren't going to go from here to alpha in another month, but in terms of setting up pre-alpha testing, in terms of making and rearranging some features to be sure that they would be ready for PAT, that was part of the reason for the delay.
And there I am.
Oh, it's
One thing I have to say
Yeah,
is
come in.
you can't see behind our fancy digs here, but there's like 100 pieces of paper there. There's a schedule hidden behind this that's got red marker all over it. There's another schedule at my house in my office with red marker all over it. So there's a whole lot of stuff that had to be figured out before we could actually say this is what we're going to do. So
Thank you.
that's why I'm tired.
What spurred this announcement? Well, as I said, earlier today, and I'm going to say in my post as well. Oh, it's really simple. We want to do more. It would have been very simple. It would have been very simple for us just to do what some other, not all other developers, but some other developers and publishers do, and still say, hey, sorry, we're delayed. And that's all there is to it. Thank you very much for playing, and move on. And we didn't want to do that. And so we had to think about, could we break alpha up in this way? We had to think about the guarantee. We had to think about the schedule. We had to think about, the ramification, all the ramifications of this. And when we talked about it, well, this is what made sense. So that's the plan. And that's why we had to wait. Are there any plans for any more class reveals coming up soon? I wouldn't say soon, because frankly, we're focusing, on alpha right now. So, and especially the first stage, the PAT. So, no class reveals coming up soon. Nice, JB. What's in it?
It's
You
moonshine. You want it?
This contains PK's Moonshine.
It's completely legal.
Completely legal PK's Moonshine. Let me get through this. Could the alpha access be pushed ahead of schedule if you hit a super productive period? Oh, thank you so much for asking that question. The answer is yes. Nice question from TRA 20. Besides being patient and nice to our fellow backers, is there anything we can do to make the staff, I assume, happier?
More moonshine.
More moonshine? No. No, actually, just look. Just give us, as you have so far, your patience and understanding. That's all I can ask. That's all we can ask as a team. But I thank you for asking that question. Are we open to recruiting guilds of players into IT or just individual players? Probably not into IT, but pre-alpha testing is a different story. And it's not that I have anything against guilds in IT, but there's no way to easily, unless we limited the guilds to certain people within the guilds who really contributed, it would be very unfair to all of our IT testers, as well as other people who are going to get into IT, for their actions, to invite a large guild or any guild if all the people there didn't contribute. Question: Is the delay due solely to lack of programming staff, or is there a snag you have run into development? No, nothing to do with snags. You know, no, I think I have a snag in my shirt. But other than that, I've got nothing. There's nothing that we've run into that we went, oh my God, that just cost us 3 months, 6 months, and, you know, we're, you know, SOL. No, nothing like that. Solely the delay in, you know, in having enough people here to, quite frankly, do all the work we have to do. Macbeth, you already have guilds in IT. Yeah, I kind of figured that, but there's kind of a difference between buying IT and participating and, you know, inviting an entire guild in for IT. So sorry, guys, wasn't much of a secret. Night Healer, what are the core hours you are looking for pre-alpha testing? We have not gotten to that point yet. The key thing to keep in mind, we want to make sure, again, that European, North American players can get in. We're going to obviously look at our other, we have some, you know, great Aussie backers and others, you know, across the world. And so we'll talk to them as well, or have them talk to us. But unfortunately, our focus, especially in the beginning, is to make sure that the majority of our players with alpha access can get in. Odovic, have you found the reaction to today's announcement better or worse than expected? A little bit of both. Certainly, we've gotten some wonderful feedback and support from the vast majority of players. We've gotten some nasty grams. That's okay. I expected that. We've also gotten a bunch of confused stares, which is one of the things I mentioned, you know, in the document I'm going to put up in the email that's going to go out later tonight. And I wanted to avoid the confused stare bit, which is why I'm here. Look, I know people are upset. You have every right to be upset. I have no problem with that. We've also had a few people ask for refunds. Once again, I have no problem with that. You know, the only thing I've ever asked, or the only thing I've asked, frankly, so far is, you know, check or cash. And frankly, why are you doing this? Are you leaving because you think you won't have access to alpha, or you just don't want to wait, or you feel that, you know, the alpha test delay, or the delay in the opening of alpha testing is reason for you to want your money back, and that's fine. You know, look, it's your guys' money, and, you know, you've given us to obviously use to make this game, but if the delay in alpha means that you don't have faith in the studio anymore, or you don't want to wait, that's your call. And, you know, am I happy that that happens? Of course not. Did I expect it would happen? Absolutely. So far so good. I, of course, wish there was nobody who was confused. Just as I wish that there was nobody who said, you know what, I just don't want to wait. But it is what it is, and that's all there is to it. Foggy, is there more, you know, is there some stress relieved by having a more realistic schedule? Well, at the time we thought it was realistic, and it's still, you know, realistic. If we had been able to hire the programmers we needed late last year, it would have been great. If you look at the date we set it out pretty far. But it took us until May. And you guys know that. You've seen our, you know, our hiring updates. You've seen, you know, the new team members. It just took us a long time to do that, and it sucked. And I'm really, boy, I wish that it had been otherwise. But, you know, once again, it is what it is, and we're doing what we're doing. Once again, a question of whether any of the BSC stuff is causing any of the delays. Nope, not at all. Kind of would be nice if it was, because then I could point to it and go, it's my fault. Again, it's all based on not having the people.
BSC stuff is inside of the build now.
Right. We've already got some BSC stuff in the build already. And while I'm waiting for other questions, like Tyler just said, we've got stuff already in the bill that, goes right to the heart of the magic system. We've got the walls going in. We've got tracking projectiles starting to go in. We've got regular projectiles going in. We're, putting the damage component, health component, on walls, so you can actually, knock them down.
You haven't put the list up yet? You haven't put the list up
No.
yet?
So you can actually knock them down. We've got a lot of other things from the BSC. Well, actually, yes, I put the list up on the forums, but I didn't send it out yet.
Piles of cool physics.
Piles of cool physics. And like I said earlier, when I started this, guys, go into, if you haven't been on our forums yet, at least in the last hour, go look for a thread started by me called Pardon the Confusion. And you'll see at the bottom 37 items that are on our checklist for the pre-alpha testing. Question about the surveys, when will they go out? Not, certainly not this week. We're not even close to. We haven't even talked about, internally what questions we're going to ask on the surveys. Obviously, we're not beginning to, open pre-alpha testing tomorrow. So, Fringe, thank you for understanding about the delay. Yeah, we're going to take our time. That, as I covered earlier, and I'll cover again for some of the folks who, like most of you maybe, or a lot of you who couldn't make the 12 o'clock one. We're late, but we're under budget. How often do you see that, right? Hey, we're late, give us more money because we spent it all. No, exact opposite. We are under budget for this game so far. It's really that simple. We didn't make, bad decisions, I guess we'd have to say, by going out and hiring additional artists, by contracting for sound, for decorating our offices, because we knew we were going to have a hit game that was going to come out, in 2015. We didn't do any of that dumb stuff. We can do our own dumb stuff occasionally, but none of that dumb stuff, and not that obviously dumb stuff. So, we're on the budget. We're in good shape, financially, which is a great thing. Unfortunately, we are behind schedule, on a game thing. So that's the downside to that. Question about all 3 realms and all the classes being available for alpha. Oh boy, not a snowball's chance in where. Getting the classes right for this game is very important. We're not going to, rush them, but more importantly, this is something, class balance, that is crucial in any game, but even more crucial in an RVR game. You can fudge stuff a bit more in a PvE game. You're going to err on the side of the class versus the NPC because, you want players happy. As we do the class design, especially as complicated as ours is going to be, we aren't going to rush them out. That would be terrible. That would be dumb. We got to take our time. We've got to balance them. We got to design them properly. So we are going to take our time with that. One of the things I'm going to say in my post, or I've said in my post, excuse me, is that if you look at the PATs, that's all about tech testing and stress testing. It's not, there'll be some game features certainly, and you can see from the list how many we've already talked about. And then we've got, as Tyler said, lots and lots of paper talking about, not only the tech kind of stuff, but all game stuff too that's going to be going in.
And we're focusing on all the hard things.
And we're focusing, that's a good point, thank you. And we're focusing on the really hard things in the beginning, which is where the tech and stress come in, which is why the PATs. I mean, it's really that simple. Just as we did when we were a small company, or smaller company. We have to focus